The Ukrainian parliamentary election of 2012 took place on the 28th of October 2012. Because of various reasons, including the impossibility of announcing election results, various by-elections have taken place since. Hence, several constituencies have been left unrepresented at various times. Unlike the two previous elections, this election used a mixed voting system with a 5% election threshold, and the participation of blocs of political parties was not allowed anymore. The method of 50/50 mixed elections was used previously in 1998 and 2002. The election campaign was limited to 90 days. Every citizen of Ukraine 18 years of age or older was able to vote in 33,540 polling stations in Ukraine and 116 foreign polling stations in 77 countries. The Party of Regions won the largest number of seats, while Fatherland came second. The election was also noted for the rise of the far-right parties of Svoboda, which came in fourth. The new party UDAR also enjoyed noticeable great success with its third place in the election. The Communist Party of Ukraine almost tripled its numbers of voters, but because of the mixed election system used in the election, it only won 5 more seats compared with the previous election. Because of this mixed system, 3 small parties and 43 unaffiliated politicians also made it into parliament. The new parliament was appointed and started its tasks on the 12th of December 2012, 6 weeks after the elections. Background: political crises and cancelled 2008 snap elections. On October 8, 2008, Ukrainian President Viktor Yushchenko tried to dissolve the Verkhovna Rada and called early parliamentary elections in Ukraine for the second time in as many years for December 7, 2008. The right of the president to dismiss the parliament was challenged in Ukraine's constitutional court. The president's decree has since lapsed, as it was never put into action, and appeals to Ukraine's constitutional court were withdrawn. Nevertheless, a snap election was predicted by Ukrainian politicians during the 2010 presidential election and after the dismissal of the second Tymoshenko government. One of the arguments against holding early elections were the costs. Early elections were estimated to cost approximately UAH 417 million hryvnias. 2012 election date set. On February 1, 2011, the Verkhovna Rada set the election date for October 28, 2012. Several deputies whose votes were registered that day have stated they could not have taken part in voting because they were not in Kiev on February 1, 2011. Voting by MPs in the place of absent MPs of the Verkhovna Rada is prohibited by law. On July 27, 2012, the Central Election Commission of Ukraine announced that campaigning for the elections would commence on July 30. Changes in the voting system. In June 2011, the Venice Commission reviewed a proposed draft law on the election of Ukrainian parliamentary members. The proposal sought to reinstate a parallel voting system used in the 1998 and 2002 elections, with the establishment of 225 local single-member districts elected by a first-past-the-post electoral system, and the remaining 225 parliamentary seats being elected nationwide on a proportional party list system with a 5% support threshold, and excluding political blocs from all elections. The option "vote against all" was also made defunct in the proposal. 17% of the voters would have voted against everybody during the elections. The opposition and Ukrainian analysts accused the Party of Regions of rewriting the law so that the president could secure a majority in the next Verkhovna Rada. In October 2011, the Venice Commission recommended Ukraine should not return to a mixed election system. Nevertheless, on the 17th of November 2011, the Ukrainian parliament approved an election law almost identical to the June 2011 proposed draft law. This new law satisfied the major opposition parties Batьківщина and Front for Change, but was condemned by the core party of Our Ukraine People's Self-Defense Bloc, Our Ukraine. Candidates could be elected on party lists or through self-nomination. On 8 December 2011, President Viktor Yanukovych signed the new election law. Since then, several parties merged with other parties. The possibility to be simultaneously be nominated on a nationwide party list and in a single-mandate constituency also was declared unconstitutional by the Constitutional Court of Ukraine on 10 April 2012. Voters could temporarily change the place of voting without changing the permanent voting address. Issues: fraud suspicions and accusations. Candidates and analysts predicted that bribery to secure votes would be rampant. A March 2012 poll by researcher NAMP Branding Group showed that 66% of the respondents believed that the election would not be fair. 18% disagreed with that. Following the elections, the party's fatherland, UDAR and Svoboda, filled in an appeal at the Central Election Commission of Ukraine with allegations of fraud in 13 simple majority constituencies. For irregularities in the elections, like cases of ballot stuffing, carousel voting, suspiciously high voter turnout and bribed voters have been reported. On 30 October 2012, the Committee of Voters of Ukraine stated that the elections saw a record number of cases of bribery of voters. They also insisted the elections had not brought the country closer to democratic standards, and that although there were no grounds to believe that the violations that were reported on polling day could affect the election results, the election results could seriously be affected by violations during the counting of votes. According to OPORA, the most common violations of the electoral law during the election campaign in August were using government resources for partisan purposes and vote buying. According to OPORA, the Party of Regions committed the most violations of the electoral law. On 28 October 2012, Party of Regions itself claimed to have documented 607 violations of the election legislation by its opponents. In June 2012, the Committee of Voters of Ukraine declared that the use of government resources for partisan ends would not be decisive in the elections. According to Taras Kutsioburkit, riot police was used in attempts to destroy ballots. On 1 November 2012, the deputy chairwoman of the Central Election Commission of Ukraine, Anna Yuzienko-Chorna, stated that the elections are heavily falsified. She indicated that several electoral districts clearly demonstrated depravity of the single constituency district elections in Ukraine, and that as of 1 November, CVK still had not received results from 14 electoral districts. According to her, that was the main reason why CVK could not announce the complete results of the elections on the scheduled time, the 31st of October 2012. In mid-February 2012, Bloc Yulia Tymoshenko deputy Roman Zabzalyuk stated that, if the results on election day can't be sufficiently fixed, the Party of Regions had already made plans to bribe deputies to join the Party of Regions after their election into the Parliament. Representatives of the Party of Regions denied allegations of bribery or plans to fix the election. issues at districts Kiev and its region. A notably reported scandal took place at the electoral district 215, where initially a win was awarded to the acting chairman of the Kiev City Council, Halina Hira. After the results were challenged, it was decided to recount the votes with about 30 law enforcement personnel to keep public order. Later everything was resolved and cleared that indeed the votes between the two candidates Hira and Ybilyk were switched around. On November 1, 2012, Halina Hira officially complained about the elections, but does not intend to take it to court. To another electoral district 211 in Kiev was sent an ambulance as a deputy chairman of the district electoral commission had a nervous breakdown. The commission of the district for 3 days had a difficult time to count all the votes. Another big scandal with involvement of the riot law enforcement unit of Berkut took place at the 95th electoral district. The electoral commission at the district was the slowest, and the public involvement surely did not help to speed up the process. However, a possible miscounting was prevented. Previously, a possible riot from a big youth group of athletic posture was suspected by witnesses. Another scandal took place at the 223rd district, where some fist-fighting took place, which was eventually extinguished with the help of law enforcement. Ole Ybilyk told Ukrainska Pravda that Svoboda will be picketing epicenter supermarkets and apartments of the 223rd electoral district. Commission members. Because of the incident, the Radio Liberty conducts a live broadcasting from the headquarters of the district. In protest, the district electoral commission refuses to continue its work. Southern Ukraine. At the 132nd district, peasants laid a siege around the building of the district electoral commission in the protest of post-electoral results. Repeat elections in 5 constituencies. The Central Election Commission of Ukraine adopted a resolution on November 5 recognizing the impossibility of announcing election results in 5 single-seat constituencies. It also recognized the need to hold repeat elections in these constituencies and asked Parliament to take a decision on holding repeat elections in these constituencies. On November 6, the Verkhovna Rada adopted a resolution that proposed repeat elections. On 8 November, the Central Election Commission stated that the Verkhovna Rada should thus make a respective law for this and the Cabinet of Ministers, if Ukraine should determine the amount of funding for these elections. On 29 December 2012, the Constitutional Court of Ukraine received a query from 54 Verkhovna Rada members concerning procedures for the 5 repeat elections. As of 21 March 2013, the Constitutional Court has not opened a case on this issue. The current Verkhovna Rada parliamentary majority refused to consider the scheduling of repeated elections in the 5 constituencies before the court issues its ruling on this issue. On 5 September 2013, the Verkhovna Rada set the date of 7 re-elections to 15 December 2013. Repeat elections in 2 more constituencies. In early February 2013, the Higher Administrative Court of Ukraine ordered the Central Election Commission of Ukraine to hold new elections in 2 more districts after the court removed the deputy mandates of United Centre member Pavlo Beloha and independent Alexander Dombrovsky. The Administrative Court established that the results in single-member districts number 11 and number 71 after the 2012 elections had been unreliable. On 3 July 2013, Beloha's and Dombrovsky's mandates were officially cancelled. On 5 September 2013, the Verkhovna Rada set the date of 7 re-elections to 15 December 2013. By-election in constituency 224. On the 24th of December 2012, President Viktor Yanukovych appointed Pavlo Lebedyev as defense minister. Lebedyev had been elected as a lawmaker in the single-seat constituency No. 224 in the 2012 election. On the 22nd of March 2013, the Verkhovna Rada cancelled his parliamentary mandate. The by-election for the single-seat constituency No. 224 was held on the 7th of July 2013 and won by independent Vadim Novinsky with 53.41% with a turnout of 23.91%. Before the election, Novinsky had stated he would join the Party of Regions if he won. Repeat elections in constituency 133. On the 12th of September 2013, the Higher Administrative Court of Ukraine ruled it impossible to reliably establish the results of the 28th of October 2012 elections in single-mandate constituency No. 133. At the time, Ihor Markov had been declared winner of the constituency. The court overturned the Central Election Commission decision of 23 November 2012 regarding Markov's registration as a People's Deputy of Ukraine, and ordered the CEC to take measures to organize, prepare for and hold repeat elections in constituency No. 133. Police officers had documented the use of pens with disappearing ink in at least 40 polling stations in constituency No. 133 on the 28th of October 2012. The Central Election Commission of Ukraine finalized the vote count on the 12th of November 2012 but simultaneously ordered, on recommendation of the Verkhovna Rada, repeat elections in 5 troubled single-mandate constituencies where it could not establish results, because of occurrences in these 5 constituencies. In February 2013, the Higher Administrative Court of Ukraine ordered to hold new elections in 2 more districts after the court removed the mandates of 2 seats. On the 5th of September 2013, the Verkhovna Rada itself set the date of these 7 re-elections to the 15th of December 2013. Hence, before the 15th of December 2013 of the 450 seats in Parliament, 443 deputies have been elected, but eventually only repeat elections were held in 5 constituencies on the 15th of December 2013. By-election in constituency 83. In February 2014, Alexander Syk became vice prime minister in the Yatsenyuk government. Syk had been elected as a lawmaker in the single-seat constituency No. 83 in the 2012 election of the 28th of October 2012. The by-election for the single-seat constituency No. 83 was held on the 25th of May 2014 and won by independent Alexander Shevchenko with 37.6% with a turnout of 37.66%. The candidate of the party of Syk, Svoboda, came third with 14.9%. Campaign. The Party of Regions campaign focused heavily on promoting its record as the ruling party, contrasting the stability of the Azarov government with chaos during the second Tymoshenko government in 2007-10. It advocated a balanced approach to developing relations with Russia and the West, saying neither should be given priority over the other. Fatherland tried to paint the election as a battle of good against evil and pledged to impeach President Viktor Yanukovych. The party stated it advocated European values and promised to reverse the Azarov government policy of raising the status of the Russian language. UDAR avoided sensitive and polarizing subjects and focused instead on popular topics, such as more empowerment to ordinary Ukrainians and a ruthless campaign against corruption. The indifferent indifference of the authorities, the lack of local governance, inequality and poverty. Svoboda softened the rhetoric in the campaign but nevertheless promised to shake up the country's political status quo. One of the biggest spenders of the campaign was the party Ukraine Forward. One of their election billboards claimed that an average wage of €1,000 and a pension of €500 was realistic for Ukraine. Many candidates in single-seat constituencies tended to focus on local issues, are often distancing themselves from party agendas. Overall, the election programs of the major parties bore many similarities. All pledged reforms to spur economic growth, higher wages, pensions and other benefits, better education and medical care. 2 weeks before the election, UDAR withdrew 26 of its candidates running in single-member constituencies in favor of fatherland candidates, and they withdrew 26 parliamentary candidates in favor of UDAR in an attempt to maximize votes for the opposition. Costs: political parties spent more than $75 million on the election campaign in multi-member constituencies. The Party of Regions spent about $27 million, Fatherland more than $13 million, UDAR more than $4 million, the Communist Party of Ukraine $9 million, Our Ukraine $8 million, and Ukraine Forward $7.6 million. Svoboda claimed it had spent $3 million on the campaign. The Ukraine of the future did not spend anything on campaigning, yet still managed to take the 15th spot amongst the 21 parties who participated in the nationwide list with 0.18% of the votes. Denis Kovrizhenko of the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, Ukraine, stated the sum of money spent could be up to 10 times more than what parties report afterwards. According to OPORA, in general, candidates spend about 3 times more than they officially report to spend. Political scientist Artem Budenko estimated other figures. He believed that the Party of Regions had spent around $850 million, Ukraine Forward some $150 million, and the election campaigns of the rest of the political parties $350 million, while candidates in majority constituencies had spent some $900 million on the election campaign. About half of the single constituency candidates submitted reports about their campaign spending. In October 2008, Ukrainian experts estimated that a small political party who wants to win seats in parliament would spend up to $30 million on the campaign, and large political parties would spend up to $100 million. Political analyst Pavlo Ybilyk stated then that a party's election budget will be spent on advertising on television, bribing voters, organizing rallies and party propaganda. Results: on the 8th of November, the Central Election Commission of Ukraine completed and released all results of the nationwide party list, the constituencies. Meanwhile, the Central Election Commission refused to establish the election results for the first-past-post results in 5 constituencies. The Central Election Commission of Ukraine finalized the vote count on the 12th of November 2012, but simultaneously ordered, on recommendation of the Verkhovna Rada, repeat elections in 5 troubled single-mandate constituencies where it could not establish results because of occurrences in these 5 constituencies. Hence, on the 12th of November 2012, 445 deputies had been elected of the 450 seats in Parliament. On the 8th of February 2013, the Supreme Administrative Court of Ukraine deprived 2 more deputies of power. They were banned from Parliament on the 3rd of July 2013. On the 5th of September 2013, the Verkhovna Rada itself set the date of all 7 re-elections to the 15th of December 2013. nationwide list electoral districts. Next to the 87 political parties, 1150 independent candidates took part in the 225 electoral districts. Several lawmakers elected into the new parliament have family ties with other lawmakers or other family members in the executive branch of Ukrainian politics. Turnout. The total voter turnout in the election was 57.99%, about average for parliamentary elections in Ukraine. On election day, turnout had reached 22.43% by noon local time. The number of reported participating voters varied somewhere between 20.76 million and 20.78 million, while the number of invalid ballots accumulated to about 1.2 million for party list voting and voting at districts. The lowest turnout was in Crimea, the highest in Lviv Oblast. Local disparities in turnout did occur. For example, the voting turnout figures in two adjacent districts in Donetsk were 39.8% and 84.5%. Forming of new government. On the 9th of December, President Viktor Yanukovych nominated Mykola Azarov for a new term as prime minister. This nomination was approved by Parliament on the 13th of December 2012. 252 deputies of the 450 deputies supported the nomination, the whole factions of Party of Regions and Communist Party, and 10 independent deputies. The second Azarov government was appointed by Yanukovych on the 24th of December 2012. Reactions. Fatherland. UDAR and Svoboda stated the 12th of November they did not recognize the results and will challenge them in local and international courts. In a joint statement, the three parties vowed to work towards the impeachment of President Viktor Yanukovych, the resignation of the Azarov government and Chief Prosecutor Viktor Sonka, and the release from jail of Yulia Tymoshenko and other political prisoners. Prime Minister Mykola Azarov and President Yanukovych praised the elections. Azarov claimed neither democratic norms nor legal democratic procedures were in fact violated, and according to Yanukovych, the elections took place well from the technical viewpoint. Party leader Petro Simonenko of the Communist Party of Ukraine believed on the 8th of November that the new parliament could not work better than the present one, as there will be a confrontation between the financial, political and clan groups who got seats in the new parliament. Quote, he also stated then that his party will not form any coalition with other groups in the new parliament. Civil movement. Chesno stated on the 5th of December 2012 that 331 out of the 450 deputies elected on the 28th of October fell short of its criteria for honesty. According to Chesno's parameters, 114 of them violated the rights and freedoms of citizens. 30 earlier changed the political position while working in parliament or on local councils. 233 had been involved in corrupt practices. 185 had non-transparent incomes and expenses. 156 did not personally take part in voting in previous parliaments, and 101 had shirked work in parliament. Party of Regions politician Sergei Ybilyk stated in December 2012 the parliamentary elections showed that politics in Ukraine is becoming more ideological. International reactions. European Union. On the 12th of November 2012, the High Representative of the Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Catherine Ashton and European Commissioner for Enlargement and European Neighbourhood Policy Stefan Füle stated, "We express our concern about the conduct of the post-electoral process, which was marred by irregularities, delays in the vote count and lack of transparency in the electoral commissions. They also expected to see swift and determined action to bring Ukraine's electoral legislation into line with European norms and standards on the basis of an election code." United States Secretary of State Hillary Clinton stated in late October 2012 about the election, "We share the view of OSCE monitors that Sunday's election constituted a step backward for Ukrainian democracy." Vice President of the United States Joe Biden voiced concerns over the elections in a call with President Viktor Yanukovych on 13 November 2012 and urged Ukraine to end selective prosecutions. European Parliament, a resolution adopted by the Parliament on 13 December 2012 stated, expresses regret at the fact that, according to the OSCE, PACE, NATO Parliamentary Assembly and European Parliament observers, the election campaign, electoral process and post-electoral process failed to meet major international standards and constitute a step backwards compared with the national elections in 2010. Poland. According to President Bronislaw Komorowski, the results of the elections showed the success of pro-European spirit in the country, because all political parties that made it into parliament, but the Communist Party of Ukraine, declared European integration of the country as one of the goals.